Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Ume Victor to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Senator Peter Ume, the floor is yielded to you to move the motion that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to move the motion that this very important bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Skills Acquisition and Technology, AGOLO, in Anambra State, SB 493, be moved.
You may wish to proceed. You don't need a seconder.
Thank you, Mr. President. My brother is already itching to second the motion, Senator Moye. Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, I hereby present the lead debate on this very important bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Skills Acquisition and Technology, AGOLO, Anambra State, SB 493. Mr. President, my highly respected, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on this very important bill. The bill seeks to establish the Federal College of Skills Acquisition and Technology, AGOLO, Anambra State. The bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, 3rd of July, 2024. Distinguished senators will agree with me that the acquisition of technical and technological skills is a major requirement for the advancement and development of any nation. Therefore, establishment of platforms for acquisition of requisite skills through technical and technological education is in itself a source of youth empowerment, which invariably is a sure way of curtailing unemployment in the country. It is instructive to note that Nigeria today ranks among nations with very high level of youth unemployment. We have millions of youths idling away without any visible means of livelihood. And this has significantly contributed to the high level of insecurity in the country, as there is a saying that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. However, these idle youths can be salvaged and empowered through acquisition of technical skills that will provide employment opportunities for them, especially in the construction industry, as well as enable them to be self-employed. It is for these reasons that this bill has been conceived to provide trainings in sundry services, such as bricklaying, electrical installations, plastering, roofing, plumbing, painting, cooling systems, refrigeration, carpentry, steel fabrications, welding, sealing POPs, iron bending and fitting, and so on and so forth. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is not in doubt that people with these skills are the backbone of the construction industry in any given nation. For example, in America and other developed countries of the world, great emphasis is placed on skills acquisition among the youth, particularly those not in pursuit of university degrees or diplomas in tertiary institutions. They are known as handymen that render essential services in diverse areas and are properly certified and registered. Distinguished colleagues, on this note, I humbly request my distinguished colleagues to support the expeditious passage of this bill because of its far-reaching relevance to the socio-economic development of this country. In Nigeria today, most of these handymen are employed from Benin Republic, Cotonou, and the rest of it. They are the people rendering these services, which we can get our youths to acquire the skills and begin to offer these services in the construction industry and in our various homes. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Tony Moye.
Thank you, my dear President, for this rare privilege. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Dr. Tony Moye, representing Anambra North. I want to second this motion and also lend my voice briefly to this bill to be read the second time.
Line corridor benefit from the ongoing railway standardization and modernization program of the federal government. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I urge you to support this motion so that Nigeria will maintain a uniform policy of having railway lines that are made and run with standard gauge rail. This is the only one outstanding out of the old rail lines built by the colonial administrations in Nigeria. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues.
Yes, distinguished Senator Baribe.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senyindaya Baribe, and I represent Abia South. Mr. President, there's something to be very glad about by me being an indigene of this Senate. What I mean, Mr. President, is I've been here for some time, and this particular motion and the issues surrounding it is not just new. It was here when you were minority leader of the Senate. And
Please, what did you say? That the Senate President was what?
There was a one-time minority leader of the Senate. So, Mr. President, this has been here since the 8th Senate. And one of the biggest problems that we have is that no transport minister has been able to give a reason why in modernization of rail lines built by the colonial masters in Nigeria, only the Eastern Rail Line has been ignored and sentenced to oblivion like we have. And when I confronted the former minister, Mr. Rotimi Amechi, on why, he couldn't answer. All he said was, well, we are modernizing by just putting new rails. And I said, if it's a narrow gauge, how do you modernize a narrow gauge by bringing another narrow gauge? And there was absolutely no, I would say, rational explanation for it. So I second this motion with all amount of happiness by the fact that we now have another government that can take a look again, because it does not make sense. Because our people say that when you want to share things, equity is the best way to do. You cannot have a narrow gauge in the eastern part, a standard gauge, western part, and even go back to go ahead to say you're building new rail lines that is going to transverse from Lagos to Calabar, that will be standard gauge, which will, of course, cross this particular one, which means that you cannot move coaches from one point to the other. So, Mr. President, I fully support this motion, and I urge my colleagues to make sure that all the 4 geopolitical zones on the Eastern Rail Network are fully covered by a standard gauge. I know that they said that they signed a contract, but the contract is not being implemented as due. And there is now time for us to go back to the drawing board, because I come from Aba, Mr. President, and there is no rail line now. They removed the old ones and have not replaced anyone. So that gives us an opportunity. There's a right of way now. They don't need to pay for anything. The old right of way is there. All they now need to do is to just do further surveys and see how we can now put in something better for our people. I so submit.
Well, I think it's very straightforward. And if you look at it, the only thing that any other speaker here will do. Distinguished colleagues, our brother Senator Issa Jibrin has moved additional prayer that liberal terms should be established for these standard gauge negotiations, and also private-public partnership should be allowed. And these have been seconded by Senator Abamoro. Those in support of the additional prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it. So before we add more water to the motion, let me thank the distinguished Senator Ome and all those listed who moved this motion. That this motion is a national motion. The infrastructure required traverses 4 zones of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is not sectional in any way. And I think it is a motion that is patriotic. I think it's a motion that the federal government should take very seriously. And I think that I want to thank the Senate for even bringing this motion, because it will save the entirety of Nigeria. From all the way from Maiduguri, through Bauchi, through Kaduna, through Kafanchang and all that. It's really a thoroughfare that will save almost half of Nigeria. So this is a patriotic motion, a national motion, nationality in everywhere. And it's something that we think should be handled with a bit of urgency, so that we do not mistake of taking us back to the archaic days of the pre-colonial era. So I thank all of you for your contributions. And I believe strongly that the federal government will listen to the Senate and do the appropriate. Thank you. Distinguished Senator Ome.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this my motion seeks to protect local manufacturers in the procurement processes in Nigeria. In this case, on the ongoing national mass metering program of the federal government. Urgent need to protect local meter manufacturers in the ongoing national mass metering program of the federal government. The Senate notes that the duty of industry procurement regulators in every developing economy, first and foremost, is to protect its local manufacturers, and would only try to augment through the importation of goods and services where there is a clear-cut gap between local production and consumption. The Senate also notes that the members of the Association of Meter Manufacturers of Nigeria, AMON, are capable of producing world-standard smart meters. Hence, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, under Phase 1 of the mass metering program of the federal government, issued the association, after a competitive bidding process, a letter of no objection to award 4 million meters in 2022. Aware that the Central Bank of Nigeria also in 2020 undertook to fund the National Mass Metering Program, Phase 1, but after 8 months of awards to local manufacturers, withdrew funding, which affected the workability of the program. Also aware, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that the World Bank has approved a loan of $155 million for the National Mass Metering Program, worried that the ongoing World Bank funded NMMP, that's the National Mass Metering Program Phase 2, seeks to promote foreign companies' participation against competent and pre-qualified local meter manufacturers, will ultimately result in the loss of jobs and revenue. a deliberate policy to prioritize local manufacturing will catalyze job creation and economic growth. Informed that the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, on behalf of the World Bank, closed bidding advertisement on July 11, 2023, and further extended it to July 25th, 2023, that's next week Tuesday, for the supply and installation of 1.2 million smart meters to the 11 distribution companies in Nigeria. Cognizant that the bidding criteria put in place, which can only be satisfied by foreign companies, have totally marginalized and eliminated the participation of 35 local competent meter manufacturers. Also cognizant that the current bidding criteria do not only negate some policy initiatives that will facilitate the establishment of a local metering industrial base with its impact in terms of generating employment opportunities for Nigerians, it also enables loss of revenue to the nation by granting these foreign companies additional concession of a concession duty waiver of 45%. Alarmed that if the bidding process continues as it is, the outcome would be disastrous to members of the Association of Meter Manufacturers of Nigeria, who have invested billions of naira in the sector and currently employs 10,000 workers directly and more than 30,000 workers indirectly. Concerned that if the federal government and other stakeholders do not make urgent intervention, and indeed this Senate, the ongoing World Bank funded National Mass Metering Program Phase 2 would ultimately encourage foreign company participation, loss of jobs and funds to the detriment of local manufacturers and causing economic retrogression. Accordingly, the Senate resolves to 1. Urge the federal government to immediately suspend the Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN tender for World Bank funded National Mass Metering Program Phase 2 in order to undertake comprehensive review of the procurement criteria to prioritize local manufacturing and assembling in line with local content and backward integration policy that catalyzes local capacity building, employment generation, and economic growth for Nigeria. 2. Also urge the Transmission Company of Nigeria and other stakeholders to negotiate and engage the African Export-Import Bank, AFEXIM, and the African Development Bank, AFDB, for alternative loan if World Bank loan conditions do not favor local economic growth at this critical time of massive unemployment and devaluation of Naira. I so move, Mr. President. This is my motion, and I believe it was the attention of distinguished senators. This idea of giving us a loan and we bring people from outside to come and utilize the loan, and our manufacturers will continue to suffer. Our people will continue to lose sources of employment. This Senate is invited to intervene in this regard. Thank you very much, Mr. Your question is how I can fight to see this through. This motion is no longer my motion. It's already a Senate resolution. I introduced the motion. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has approved all the prayers contained therein, even with an additional prayer. So the Senate has taken it over. It's no longer Senator Victume. I was the conveyor of the motion, but the decision has been taken by the Senate. So any authority in Nigeria cannot take it lightly. You know, the Transmission Company of Nigeria are already put on notice, and we'll communicate them accordingly. We are communicating accordingly. You said there will be trouble. We are ready for the trouble. This country, the problem we have is corruption. Corruption has eaten deep into our fabric, that people who are directors in many agencies of government are taking this country for a ride. They know the correct things to do, but because of their pecuniary interests, they sabotage the local efforts being made in this country. Because how can a responsible Nigerian not see through it that very simple thing that can be made in Nigeria, you have recourse to international procurements. We cannot do that. If we continue to do it this way, this country will never become anything. I know that before the war, Japan was rearing its head up. Things made in Japan were rejected in the Nigerian markets. Japan. Today, Japan is a world power, both in technology and everything. So this meter we're talking about, 70% of the content can be sourced locally. Plastic, the cover for these meters are plastic. And they can make these plastics here. The electronic part of it, the meter, is just about 20%, and they are readily available. They can be outsourced and brought in, and you have a complete meter. So we cannot continue to allow people who stay in the comfort of their offices enter into negotiations and deals, and they continue to outsource things we can do in Nigeria for their pecuniary interests. So if I'm going to follow up this one, because the Senate will communicate this to TCN. The battle will be fought from all fronts. The Association of Meter Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the Meter Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, AMON, you'll see what they will do. We are going to chase them, and we have said we are not against the loan. There is a wrong way to see it. We are not against the loan. We're talking about the application of the loan, how to apply it. If they will give us the loan, we will take, but not to expose our local manufacturers to international financial bidding process that will make them lose out and will resort to importation of these meters when we will produce our own items. So we cannot run away from challenges that people who benefit from the rot will pose. If they try to be seeing me on television every day, yes, this is the way to fight them and create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive locally here, particularly manufacturing activities. Anything you have on you now is from abroad. Everything. The country cannot survive under this severe economic distress that we are passing through. So we are ready. Don't bother about that. We've done it procedurally. The Senate has taken it over, and if they want to be in collision paths with the Senate, we'll see. We are the people who will approve any money that will be spent in Nigeria. Even loans that you take, we will approve it here. All loan requests are brought to the National Assembly. So if we are going to approve loan requests from government, and then you tell us to remove our eyes from the way the loans will be utilized, you are not getting it right. That's why we have power of oversight. That's the power of oversight that we have. If you try it, we'll strangulate you. Can't do anything. This country must find a way to stand up and be like others, so that we begin to produce. If we can produce even 40% of what we use in Nigeria, we would have become a giant. We are importing everything. So I am here. If you know me, I think you know me from the 8th Senate.
We know you, yes.
I say things I say the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
And nothing can happen to me. Yes. Then on almost a question about how we can extend this to other activities.
Like I was saying, on behalf of the association and by myself, appreciating the presentation that you made, I was impressed by how articulate you were, understanding the issues and being able to present it from different angles. I said to my colleague that we had to be here to say thank you and to seek further areas of collaboration and cooperation. It is very rare to witness senior members of government and the political class, understanding what makes the real sector blossom and have all those attendant multiplier effects that can take the country out of the abscess that has grown all over the place. Because we have a situation where we need that for us also, because we have experience of Nigerians in various economies, America, Britain, in Asia, who are making big strides in technological development. Why can we not start our own in Nigeria? And these are coupled with the fact that when we looked at this World Bank loan and it was a loan and not a grant, if Nigeria is going to pay it back, the least we can do is let it add value to Nigeria. Let it add value to the economy. We employ, we realize taxes from it, we have technological development from it, we have after-sales service for the equipment and the meters that will be delivered, and overall, we contribute to the GDP, which I believe is what this current government and the current president needs the most. So, to that extent, we just said we had to come in. Thank you very much. Thank you for mentally assimilating the issues and presenting it on the floor. Because when I looked at the video and the reports, I was very impressed. Very, very impressed. Because sometimes the impression you get of politicians is that they want to do a whitewash and move on. But you presented it in such a way that Nigerians appreciated it, because other people who looked at it and other arms of government who have seen it and have invited us to meetings, they were able to quote some of what you said and approach it from all those multidimensional angles and realize that they would rather be on the side that you are, which is our side. And yes, and which has helped us to push this matter to where it is today. I want to assure you that the quality of meters that Nigerians are capable of putting together are international standards, and we have stood the rigors of tests from NEMSA, the Nigeria Electricity Management Services Agency, the rigors of tests from NERC, and that every meter that we send into the market pass through a routine test to make sure that you will keep that standard. Now, what would have been imported would not have passed through all of those tests. At the end of the day also, it would have reminded us of a project done in 2013 or 14 by World Bank. They supplied 40,000 meters to Kaduna and a few other discos. And at the end of the day, neither was the project completed, and after-sales service was nothing to write home about. And the project was never really concluded. So
most of those meters are not been replaced.
Most of them have been replaced, So we are happy that this is happening, and we hope and expect that it will be the beginning of creating technology-based industries in Nigeria and keeping some of our own value for our system. Thank you, my most distinguished Senator, sir.
The only thing I will add in 30 seconds is that there is something the Senator said that day. I'm touching my bones as if he had been in this conversation for a long time.
Yes.
He said, when we put this money in the local economy to build the capacity base of that sector, that people will start exporting meters from here to other countries.
Absolutely.
To other sub-Saharan African countries.
Absolutely.
To East Africa.
Yes.
And that is the truth.
Yes.
When I set up to do a factory, I will make sure before you travel, I will take you there. At least you see something. all my mind was, when I look up, I said, the way Liberians, they are calls from Liberia, they are calls from other places. They look at us, that let us build an industry base that will feed other African countries. And at the time I was having that vision, I didn't even know that federal government would do any intervention or to bring money to fund military. Because it was between 2019 and early to middle 2020. Federal government only came up with NMNP, National Mass Military, late 2020. So we are grateful for what you have done. Because the meeting we had with the Minister of Finance, very high-powered meeting on Tuesday, showed what the Senate did has sent a signal that they cannot do. So the only thing we will beg, fortunately or unfortunately, you are traveling because the fight is not over yet. Is that we want to make sure we get the Senate to send their communications.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, just before we go to the clause-by-clause consideration of this bill, I would like to use the opportunity, as we agreed in the closed-door session, that I will raise the issue I raised in the closed-door about this bill. You will recall that on the 19th of December 2024, no, 19th of January 2025, when we debated this bill during the second reading, I raised an observation that there was an omission that I considered grave in that bill. And that omission was on non-provision of any sum of money for the construction of standard gauge rail from Port Harcourt through, in fact, from south-south through southeast, north-central, northwest, and northeast. Northeast. I said northwest is there because of Kafanchan. Is there. It's northwest. So I said that that corridor has no functional railway system and none has been constructed there. It's been abandoned. That I was hoping that that budget, this bill, will incorporate the need to build that railway. Also drawing from the fact that on the 23rd of November 2023, I sponsored a motion here, co-sponsored by 35 senators from this corridor, on the need to construct standard gauge rail from Port Harcourt through Aba, Makurdi to Maiduguri. And no provision was made. You recall that you were presiding on that date, and you told me that until the breakdown comes out, that I may not be sure that that provision was not made. We waited, the breakdown came out, and that rail line has zero allocation, zero, no money for that railway line. We took it up at the committee level. Senator Alero will bear me witness. The minister could not give any satisfactory answer. Now, the president had made an additional appropriation request for 4.5 trillion itemizing projects that will be built with the fund, particularly the transportation infrastructure provision of 700 billion for roads, 300 billion, 400 billion for light rail network development in urban centers, only urban centers. That rail line was also omitted again, out of the 4.5 trillion. I said that those people who are using this rail line from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri have been abandoned again. And this large provision in this budget, from 49 trillion to 54 trillion naira now, and not even a dime was put on that railway line. That is not acceptable to our people. So I'm standing again to say that even though we are now at the point of passing this budget, that the Senate should take appropriate note of this.
Thank you.
And you have to.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Not only thank you, SP, please. It's not only thank you. You have to intervene. You have to intervene. The presidency has opportunity for supplementary appropriation. Anytime he brings a request here, this Senate will consider it. So that Eastern Rail Line needs to be accommodated in this program. Yes, for the good of this country. and good of all.
Thank you. This matter was raised during the executive session, and it was agreed that it will be communicated to the executive and then work in conjunction with the executive to ensure that the matter is addressed. So it's something that has been concluded. It's just to say it, for everyone to hear. But this matter has been resolved. Appropriate action will be taken, and it will be dealt with. Thank you very much. Let's go straight to.
And I stand here before this hollow chamber to tell you, Mr. President, that most of the people I confirmed from my own state, Taraba, the beneficiaries were across board. There is nobody that tell me that when they were given this money, they selected APC and left PDP. So I want to beg this hollow chamber and distinguished colleagues, let's do the needful and give the MD, the nominee of the Mr. President, an opportunity and cooperation to do what she knows how to do best. Thank you, Mr. President.
So we leave the commendations. If there's anybody with a question, Senator Omer, you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, the nominee is well experienced, no doubt. I'm very pleased with her profile of service. But from her CV, there was something I saw that agitated my mind. That's why I've been seeking this opportunity. Madam Nominee, you had in your last appointment the duties to deliver 5,000 naira by monthly targeted cash transfer to 2 million homes across 613 local governments in 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. When I saw that, I knew that Nigeria has 774 local governments. So I did a calculation and saw that 161 local governments were not covered in their duties in trying to make this money available to the poor people. I would like to know from you why 161 local governments were not covered. Because it lends credence to what some people had raised as the issue here, that this money should be available to all and sundry within the brackets. The money is meant to alleviate their sufferings. You put it on record that you were able to do that in 613 local governments, and 116 local governments were not covered. What was the reason for that? That's my question. And I know that, no doubt, given the opportunity, you have the experience to run a transparent thing. Why were 161 local governments not captured in your previous assignment? Thank you very much.
Victor, I think if you add the 6 area councils in the FCT, she probably left out 167, not 161, because outside the 774, we have 6 area councils in the FCT that will take the number to 780, because they are also treated as local governments. You understand? So that would mean that she has to explain why she left out 167. Senator Izona, leader of the Senate. Yes, point of order, Senator Omer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Order 41, matter of urgent public importance. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. And then 51. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present. Mr. President, during the screening of the nominee for the appointment to the position of coordinator, social investment program, in the question and answer session, so many revelations were made here, which we couldn't pursue through in the course of that screening. Number one was that I asked a question on the exclusion of 167 local governments in Nigeria in the program she executed, 5,000 bi-monthly, and we discovered that from her own report contained in what she gave to us, 613 local governments were only covered, leaving a shortfall of 161 plus 6 area councils. That's 167. You noted it, Mr. President. And if you consider this, you will see that about 10 states were excluded in that program. We didn't know the local governments, we didn't know those concerned and involved. And in the course of her answer to certain questions, she also made us to understand that there were people who were paid 5,000 bi-monthly that graduated to 150,000, some to livelihood, then some to 300,000 naira. I'm aware that there was another migration to 700,000 naira. If you calculate this money, it will run into billions of naira. And a lot of Nigerians and parts of Nigerians were excluded in that program. I don't think it's something that should be left to go like that. So I want to seek your approval to bring a formal motion in the next legislative date so that we can interrogate that revelation. It's very important because we're going into what point of order again? Eh? Let me finish now. Let me finish. You put your own. Eh? You're helping me. Okay. If I finish, you help me. So, Mr. President, I would like this Senate to interrogate those revelations. You were not happy with it. A lot of us were not happy with it because people were excluded, and that will not be good. We are moving into another cash transfer program of 15 million households. They experimented with 2 million households, and 167 local governments were not captured. So this one we're going into, we need to interrogate that one to ensure that this good program of the government will reach every part of Nigeria. I wanted her to answer why those 161 local governments were excluded. She didn't answer it. You helped her by saying that there are more time to get explanations. So if you approve, Mr. President, I would like to bring a formal motion to interrogate that in the next legislative day. Thank you, Mr. President.
And it's only asking for motion. You're not asking to do it now. It's an urgent issue.
It's also urgent now. Leave him now. It's point of order now. We don't even know what he wants to say. Let him say his own.
Is it a counter point of order?
The point of order brought forward by Senator Ume is noted. A lot of revelations were made during the screening. And even if you did not seek our permission, you could still have come up with a motion for this Senate to look into it. So your point of order is actually sustained. Now, just to mention, yes, there's another point of order. What was that?
Mr. President, my name is Asuko Ekwenyong, Senator representing Cross River South. I come under Order 41, matter of urgent public importance. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. Mr. President, the cause of which the point of order was raised was after the business of the day had started and we had gone far. Matters of urgent public importance are brought after petitions and before the business of the day. I raised the point of order during the discussion. If it is late, I yield. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, distinguished Senator Asuko Ekwenyong, look at Order 52, Rule 6. Open to 52, Rule 6. Have you seen it? It shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the Senate has come to a conclusion during the session, except upon a substantive motion for rescission. So your point of order is overruled. Leader of the Senate.
I have said it that we cannot allow xenophobia in Nigeria. The Igbo people of Nigeria are indigenous people of Nigeria. We didn't migrate to Nigeria. We didn't come from any place outside Nigeria to become Nigerians. We are the aborigines in this country, and we have the right to reside in any part of Nigeria and do our business according to the guarantees given by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So nobody should allow any interest or personal sentiments to launch an attack on Igbo people. We live in every corner of Nigeria, contributing to the well-being of all those places we live in. Lagos is just one of those places Igbos live. Without Igbos in Lagos, the economy of Lagos will be nothing. The Igbos built Lagos, made it strong, and they're happy. What they want to do is just to be allowed to do their business. They pay taxes to the Lagos state government. So anybody that is attacking the Igbos in Lagos is drawing anarchy to Nigeria. We live everywhere. We live in Kano. There's no village in Nigeria that the Igbos do not live. And when they come, they do their business and contribute to the development of those places where they live. They build houses. They become part of the communities. They are host communities. So it is for any reason it is political that Igbos are being attacked in any part of Nigeria. Let them know that it will not be sustained. But it will mark the beginning of the disintegration of the country. And nobody should provoke it. Nobody should provoke it. We are very peaceful people. We work hard. We contribute to the opening up of those places that we reside and are remote in Nigeria.
Additional prayer, Senator Ume.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, just before I put the additional prayer, I wish to draw the attention of this Senate that this motion being very important and good, I want to draw the attention of the Senate to the Eastern Rail Line, the only rail line in the old Eastern region up to today. Mr. President, you recall that in the 8th Senate, I moved a motion for the inclusion of the Eastern Rail Line in the Nigerian Railway Modernization Project. The Senate passed it with other additions to it from members. But up to today, because the caption of this motion is to rescue the Nigerian Railway project from collapse, the Eastern Rail Line has indeed collapsed. We are not talking about the modernized railway lines, Abuja, Kaduna, Lagos.
Distinguished Senator Ume, if you heard what my statement before I went into the prayers, I said the motion as it is good, but it's not yet comprehensive when it comes to the railway structure in Nigeria. So it doesn't stop you from coming back to this hallowed chamber to ask us to discuss the Eastern Railway. I believe that the entirety of the rail system in the country must be further discussed by this Senate. So we can't do it with the motion as it is now. That is why I said I like the fact that the first prayer is that we should send the content of this motion to the Committee on Land Transport, and then we have accepted that. It doesn't stop you from coming back with something more holistic and something specific in respect of the Eastern Railway Line. But if you have a further amendment to this, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me use the opportunity of this motion and the prayers to make an additional prayer. And that additional prayer is to urge the federal government of Nigeria to include the Eastern Rail Line in the Nigerian Railway Modernization Project the way it is. Let's just put it back as a prayer. Thank you very much.
Any seconder? Yes, Senator, dismissed Senator Darlington.
Thank you, Mr. President and dear colleagues. My name remains Darlington Nwokocha. I speak for the entire Nigeria, but Abia Central in particular. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my brother, Senator Ume, that the Eastern Railway Network should be included in the present motion.
Third prayer, as an additional prayer, moved and seconded. Those in support that the Eastern Railway Line should be included as part of what the federal government should look into immediately, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You've had your say. Distinguished Senator Nweboyi. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, the distinguished...
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, let me say that the budget presented yesterday was a very ambitious budget with very huge financial provisions in the highlighted sectors. I don't want to go into the economics of the budget, but I was wondering how 1,500 naira for $1 will bring down inflation from 34% to 15%. I'll leave that to work out. Let me go straight to where I have concern. Mr. President, my concern is on the infrastructure proposed by Mr. President to be built in 2025. During the budget speech, Mr. President highlighted that Sokoto-Badagry Highway will be built and the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway will be built. I was waiting to hear that the President will build the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri Railway Line, which is the Eastern Rail Line. You will recall that I brought a motion here for the federal government to build the Eastern Rail Line, and that motion was co-sponsored by 35 senators. It was unanimously resolved that the President should build standard gauge rail from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. All the senators on that corridor co-sponsored that motion. So I was expecting a legacy project, Eastern Rail Line, running from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. But it does appear that it has been overlooked again. Looking at the budget,
We have not seen the details now. This is
I've
the bill.
seen the provision on land transportation. What we have there is 223 billion. 223 billion. We have looked at it, and it is obvious with the ongoing projects from Kaduna to Kano, Kano to Maladi, and other rail lines under construction. That Port Harcourt Maiduguri rail line can hardly be there. So I want to draw the attention of the Senate to that. Let's hope that it is in the breakdown as you are hoping. But in the event that it is not there, I would like the Senate to intervene, because the government has just announced free train rides starting from 20th December to 6th of January for the holidays. There's no rail line in that corridor. So I pray that the Senate should consider.
Your time is off.
Senate should consider that project to include it in the 2025 appropriation.
Senator Victor Ume said the public hearing followed a motion sponsored on the floor of the Senate about the 250 Nigerians being detained in Ethiopia prisons and were malnourished. The Senate referred the matter to the Committee on Diaspora to investigate. Senator Victor Ume said the committee had to invite the chairman, Nigeria Diaspora Commission, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Rewa, to explain alongside the killing of a master degree student in nursing, Lechuku Neke, in Philippines by Chinese nationals working there. Senator Victor Ume said the committee must get to the bottom of the murder to ensure justice is served on those who committed the murder.
So it is the government of Philippines that will be in full charge of the matter, and they are the people that will ensure that justice is done. What we are demanding for at this stage is for the Philippine government to prosecute the people who were involved in the murder of this innocent Nigerian, so that the people will not know that you cannot toy with other people's lives, particularly killing a Nigerian. Any place a Nigerian that is innocent is killed outside Nigeria. My committee and the NIDCOM will move in, won't tolerate that, except those who run foul of the law.
Explaining before the committee, the chairman NIDCOM, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Rewa, said her commission has been on top of the matter and that the elder sister of the murdered student, Mrs. Blessing Essien, and leaders of students' unions of Commonwealth Students Association Country's representative, Mr. Owebe Chidubem, and the President National Association of Nigerian Students in Diaspora, Comrade Prince John Oga Esquire, also appeared before the committee to explain how it happened. Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Rewa said she wants the Senate to find a way out on how the matter can be addressed.
And these are very serious cases. It's about we need to do something to help the family bring about closure. Mr. Chairman, we keep making those demands on you, and we look forward to you being able to make this happen. So that is the situation now. The morgue is very expensive, where it's been kept there, but the Philippine ambassador is going to be summoned by the minister. We have seen him too, and we're demanding that this case cannot be swept under the carpet. But in fairness to the Philippine authorities, they are cooperating. So that is the situation, and I again accept our condolence on the death of Emmanuel, but we'll work with you for closure for the family. And closure is knowing that whoever did this to him is not working about freedom.
Cross-examining the leaders of the students' unions, they have this to say.
What the chairman NIDCOM reported, that's the much we also know. And what we are soliciting for in the petition we rendered to the Senate, we had solicited support. Aside getting justice for my only brother, we also solicit that the federal government to assist in bringing his remains back.
There should be also support, and consular services made readily available for Nigerian students in diaspora. We've come to raise our voice to say there should be justice for Chukwu Bikem.
And since then, we have been in constant touch with the chapter in Philippines, the Nigerian embassy, especially the consular, and they have been doing their best, including the Nigerian community in Sibiu, where the incident took place. They are the ones that paid for the deposit of his remains in the mortuary, did some other payments to enable the hospital authorities to accept his body for safekeeping.
Senator Victor Ome said the committee will ensure the Philippines ambassador is invited within 1 week. Topsy Gemba, ASO Television News.
What led to her gruesome murder? It has become a fashion in Nigeria that when people are murdered, the corpse will be left there and nothing will be done to apprehend the murderers. This young lady at 24 years of age, her killing is a prick on the conscience of this nation. We must begin to protect human lives at all times. Kaduna is a metropolitan city. It's not a rural area. So a youth corper cannot be killed like this on national service and nothing is done to explain the murder. So it's very regrettable, and I'm very sorrowful over this development. When you post youth corpers to some places, they begin to ask for redeployment. I was inundated with a lot of requests for help for redeployment of people from my area who were posted to some states across Nigeria for fear of their lives. And when you approach the NYSC, they will tell you that if they continue to do that, nobody will serve in those places. And you yield to it only for you to wake up and hear the type of thing that has just happened. If you gave this girl a chance, she may have rejected going to that place. She would prefer Abuja, where there is reasonable safety. So we must know that the life of every Nigerian is important, particularly these young people going on youth service. So I support this motion and join in calling our colleagues to contribute. After contribution, we cannot bring her back to life. She's gone. And tragically, the only daughter of the mother. There's nothing we can do in this chamber today to assuage the feelings of this woman whose daughter has been so cut down.
Thank you very much.
Adele is smiling. I can see that he has doubt. You have doubt. But then we have to do our work. So I want to hear from Senator Ome briefly, and then after I insist on hearing from Senator Baribe. I want to hear your view. This is Senator Muro. This is not North Central Development Commission.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Thank you, Mr. President, for insisting that some of us should speak. Even though this bill is for concurrence, those of us who are from the Southeast are happy that this bill, which was passed in the 9th Senate, was introduced in the House of Representatives, and have been able to do conclusive work and pass the same bill, and now sent to us for concurrence. So those of us who are in this chamber, I don't speak for everybody, but let me say that I am very happy that this bill is here now for concurrence. The issues that necessitated this bill were captured by the presentation made by the Senate leader, that this Southeast Development Commission will be very useful in addressing the infrastructural deficits in the southeast of Nigeria. Many things were destroyed during the Civil War, Mr. President. And after the war, we were promised reconciliation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. Those things that were destroyed were not rehabilitated as promised under the Gowon regime. So we have continued to suffer infrastructural deficit despite the efforts being made by the successive governments.
The lead debate has captured it all. So you just want to thank the
opportunity for comments was that everybody was saying that there is no need to debate. Everybody is ready. Alieno is ready for concurrence. Senator Kawu is ready for concurrence. Senator Baranada Mpigi is ready for concurrence. And all our brothers on the left side are all ready for concurrence. So on this note, I thank Mr. President and also urge this distinguished Senate to give express concurrence to this bill for the reasons I've stated. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you.
Well, distinguished Senator Ume, thank you. Distinguished Senator Baribe, there is no need to say what, because we are going to, if it is the view of the Senate, then automatically we'll go through the second reading and the report will be made available for us to go into clause by clause consideration on the next legislative date, not today. And I wanted to hear from Senator Baribe initially because I can't speak from here. I don't want to open debate from here. But because you are referring to rehabilitation of war-torn homes and houses, I wanted to know whether you will include that it should actually be Southeast to South-South Development Commission, because the war was fought also in the South-South. But outside that, we can wait for the full bill to be presented to us so that we can look at clause by clause consideration. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I've gone through the motion fully, and what I can find out that is of greater substance in the motion is that there is a judgment already on this disputed area where the Cameroonians have annexed illegally. From the Anglo-German Treaty of 1913, which was referred to in this motion, and the International Court of Justice judgment delivered in 2002, it is not ambiguous that the Mangrove Islands is part of Nigeria. Therefore, I believe that what we should be doing is how to enforce the judgment of the International Court of Justice. The people living there in the Mangrove Islands are Nigerians, not Cameroonians. So there is no way our people should leave it like that, particularly as Nigeria has complied with the Anglo-German Treaty of 1913 in ceding 32 villages between Adamawa and Lake Chad. So why are we ignoring this oil-rich part of Nigeria that the Anglo-German Treaty ceded to Nigeria and backed by the judgment of the International Court of Justice? So we should move to enforce that judgment. There are ways of enforcing judgments. We cannot be beneficiaries of a judgment and leave it, and the other people will continue to exploit our resources in the region. So I believe, like the DSP said, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice should seek a way of enforcing these judgments delivered by the International Court of Justice in favor of Nigeria as it affects Mangrove Islands in Akwa Ibom State. So this is my contribution. Let us act fast and not allow that to continue. 2002 to today is 23 years. Yet, we have not taken steps to take back our land that the International Court of Justice has delivered its judgment firmly that Mangrove Islands is part of Nigeria. So the negligence is on our part. We have not seen anybody who will be beneficiary of a judgment and allow it to lie like that. And these things will continue. So this is my contribution, Mr. President. Let us act fast and recover our territory. With 2,560 oil wells in this region, it's not a small asset. It's an important part of Nigeria that we shall do everything, both diplomatically and legally, to recover and keep Cameroon out of it completely. I so submit. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
Senator Nengi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I have a petition from my constituents in respect of one very tragic incident here in Abuja. The petition was written by Elum Wisdom's Chambers on behalf of Mrs. Grace Onyebuchi Ogochukwu Grace and Ayomna Okpala Oka Welfare Association Abuja branch. Mr. President, this petition in respect of the murder of one late Onyebuchi Anene, a native of Umuorama village, Oka, in Oka South local government area of Anambra State. Just summarily, Mr. President, this petition is about a very healthy young man who, on close of work on the 22nd of May, on his way home in Kubwa, a motorcyclist ran into his car and they settled their differences and the motorcyclist went away happily because there was no injury. But surprisingly, some officers of the Special Intervention Squad of the FCT Police Command on patrol came around and apprehended the young man. And the man told them he had no problem with the cyclist, he has already gone. They said no. They started beating him with pots of gun and tear gas. From a small thing, this young man was brutalized and he went into coma. He was taken to Kubwa General Hospital. From there, he was not resuscitated. He was transferred to National Hospital Abuja. The next day, he died by 10 a.m. So the family members and the association of this community here in Abuja decided to approach the Senate with this petition. That how can something that does not involve the police, something that has been amicably settled, these officers decided to arrest him, brutalize him, and kill him. And that's the way it ended. So they're asking the Senate to order the investigation of this gruesome murder by the officers involved. Their names were written, but I don't want to start reading them now. The ASP who led the team, his name is supplied, and we are seeking...
Give us more details, please.
I should give more details?
Yes.
Okay. So the story is that the young man was a married man.
If the petition has the names of the perpetrators, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
Because we thought we had seen the end of police brutality with NSAS.
Thank you, Mr.
If the story you are telling the Senate is true,
yes,
then there's no need to hide anything that is in that paper.
Thank you, Mr. President. The members of the Special Intervention Squad of the FCT Police Command was led by one ASP, Adamu Buba, with other people under his command. And they assaulted this man. From the story I have briefly given you, the motorcyclist that hit this man had gone away happily. And they were on patrol, so they came and stopped and apprehended him. He told them that this matter has been amicably resolved. The motorcyclist sustained no injury, and they started beating him with gun butts, tear gas, and the man fell unconscious. If you see the picture, it's a gory picture.
This is which
yes,
Senator?
Mr. President, yes, sir.
So that we don't start the morning with tears in our eyes. We may proceed to lay the petition.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are seeking for justice for my constituents.
Is there any legal impediment?
No legal impediment. This thing happened on the 22nd of May. And the next morning, 23rd of May, he died at National Hospital, Abuja.
The Inspector General of Police has not stepped in to start investigation?
He has not done anything, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
The petition is referred to the Joint Committee of Police Affairs, Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petition to revert to the Senate within the next 10 days. Yes, distinguished Senator.
Distinguished Senator Ume.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent the people of Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to support this very, very important motion brought by our brother, Senator Osti Zunaso. I want to say, Mr. President, that there is a wise saying that an unexamined life is not worth living. This country has proceeded with all manners of infractions without investigations being conducted on the affairs of some agencies of government and organizations which have tended to cripple this country. The issue of this foreign exchange backlog, which is the center of this motion, is but a small chip in the irregularities going on in the financial sector in Nigeria. Today, the country is grappling with very serious economic challenges. The financial sector in this country has inflicted so much harm, both on business, entrepreneurial activities, and the economy of this country. The CBN, from this motion, thanks to the new governor of the central bank, Mr. Cardoso, who has decided to speak out, and we heard him loud and clear on this very subject, where backlog of about $7 million as also carried in this motion paper, $2.4 billion were invalid claims. And if he had not done this, nobody knows, maybe the former central bank governor would have paid everything, and the country will continue to sink. I think that this motion is direct on point, and I believe that the CBN's bank examination department has failed this country over the years. I remember in 2018 in the 8th Senate, where illicit charges on customers was brought by Senator Gbenga Shafa to the Senate. Overcharges, all kinds of bills are debited on the accounts of customers. Nobody will ever challenge them. And the bank examination department sometimes will go to the branches of these banks, sit for 1 week or 2 weeks, and give them clean reports and go away. They will be settled. We debated it and we argued it and condemned it, but it has not ended. Today, the bank will lend you money and come with all manners of charges, management fee, notification fee, all manners of things. The regulator which is the CBN, ought to follow this line the CBN governor has come up with. Banks should be held very, very accountable. I'm happy that last week I told the mover of this motion, who is also the chairman of the Senate Committee on Capital Markets, I told him that so many things have been swept under the carpet in this country. We are aware that sometime between 2007 and 2009, there was a gale of public offers sanctioned by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. A lot of Nigerians were ripped off in that exercise. And after that exercise, all those institutions that came to the Nigerian Stock Exchange to raise capital for business, all of them shut down. The banks collapsed. Citizens of this country lost their money to these banks. They were flourishing banks at that time. Fake promotions were made, and citizens jumped in. They collected their monies, and the banks closed shop. Nobody is investigating them now. Some of the MDs have been jailed. I know that the MD of Bank PHB, Mr. Tuche, is in prison. But that does not solve the problem. What about the investors' money? The citizens put their monies down, and they got nothing in return. So this one, I support an immediate investigation, because that will bring a lot of revelations. I'm happy that some moves are being made around now, so that with the ongoing investigation of the former governor of the CBN, things we didn't know, we are beginning to see them. So this investigation is very timely to help us save this economy. The foreign exchange regime in Nigeria has been at the center of the economic crisis we have. Round tripping. You give somebody $2 million, he will not use it for anything. He will make marginal profit of sometimes 200 naira, 200 naira, 300 naira. Now that the dollar is 1,400 and something naira, you know what it means to hoard $6 billion. The foreign exchange market is not funded. Banks are returning these monies, creating artificial scarcity in the system. And the citizens are choking. The economy is choking. We are all choking. So let's go to the root of this and take very hard actions that will make it very unfashionable for any bank to engage in this type of sabotage, because this is clear sabotage of the economy. So I support it, and I believe that our colleagues will support it. During the investigation, even if it involves public hearing, I will appear in all the public hearings. We need to hear what is happening to Nigeria's economy. Thank you very much.
Mr. Henry Ariziji, we are now at Abuja for the we have come to meet our senator, the people's senator, who has been interceding on our behalf with FHA on the issue of demolition that we're having at Abule Ado. And Abule Ado, precisely at both King's Royal Estate and other adjoining sister estates. In fact, I want us to know that our senator, distinguished Senator Victor Ume, has done marvelously well. Ahmadi Kendigbo has been standing for, in short, he has proven now that he is the people's senator. He took us, in his humility, he took us from here to the hierarchy of the FHA. He brought all of them to the discussing table. We discussed. I want us to know also that Senator Ashafa was present in that meeting. The MD FHA, Barrister Jala was there. We sat as family. We discussed details of how our issue will be sorted out. And to be honest, I want us to know that that issue that we came for was sorted out. We appreciate immensely the part our senator played in this. He has shown us that really he is standing in the gap for us. Then we also appreciate the FHA in their own part because of the listening ear they have been given to us and the one that they gave to us today because of the intercession of our senator. We also appreciate every one of us also that have been on this all this while. Thank you. Our senator promised us that the one that remains, the documentation, that he will also continue to follow it until the whole documentations are done for us. Thank you once again.
Yeah. The Abulado. Yeah.
People don't tackle things the proper way. But I know that if I came here before now, that
would have been
solved long ago.
And I should thank my chairman because he showed understanding. It's because he knows about his job.
Yes.
So on both sides, he knows what to say.
Yes.
He knows what to blame, and the way forward. And that is what he has just done now.
So we have some reprieve.
We are sending a delegation to Lagos that will be led by the general manager in charge of donor coordination over this weekend, and everything will be sent to me.
Distinguished, thank you very much. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much for the answers to the questions. Outside your presentations, I want to ask you something that is very urgent. Yesterday I called you about the ongoing demolitions of houses in the Abulado Festac extension. So many people have cried out. I've sent you a lot of messages today. If you have gone through your WhatsApp, I'd like to know from you what you are doing about it, because show me that you will intervene. If people have built houses and they were making payments to Federal Housing Authority, and they have received to back up, if there's any disagreement on the payments, we should be able to call them to resolve the matter. But today, the demolitions were continuing. So, sincerely on behalf of the committee, would like you to intervene by at least temporarily halting the demolitions for you to look into the matter properly. I don't know if you have anything to say.
Yes, distinguished, it was quite well said that yesterday we discussed about this and I immediately called everything for them to what he confirmed to me are that some of the houses were built without authority, some were built without paying ground rent, and some were built on some layout amendment houses. That's what he did. And I particularly told them to build a house and then give them time. If they have already hearing that it has continued today, surely what we got out here will come to draw attention to stop further.
Very well. Thank you very much. This is all for this weekend.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, my.
Every level. Anything she will need, both bread and everything, we will support her with it. Yes. Get up. Yes. This is what's her name?
I'm Oman Chimay, but I'm representing my guardian, my sister. She has an exam. Yes. She's blind, yes. Yeah, blind student. She read, she's reading, her course is education, sociology, and anthropology. 1/4.
Tell her that her fees are paid to God bless you.
Beautiful wife, Igwe, and every executive person seated, my fellow beneficiaries and their parents. And by name, Nanjoma Okochukwu. I had my first degree in music. I read zoology in 2011. I graduated with a first class, but I didn't have opportunity to be absorbed into the university. I tried all I could, gave out applications to no avail. So I decided to go for auxiliary nursing. So after my auxiliary nursing, I now joined Millennium College of Nursing Sciences through Archbishop Idesi and the Globus. That was what brought me here today. I really want to thank you, Daddy, because having myself in your foundation, the future I had always wanted, I could see it. I'm from Amanike, Okanot, and my father is a farmer, and my mom, she's just a teacher. So when we were shortlisted for the scholarship, because after our PTS class, I was the best, and then we were called. I really want to thank you for securing that future for me. And so today, if I become a nurse, just my husband is also here, we are in the same school. And whatever future we are looking up to, we are owing it to you. And my unborn child is also grateful. Thank you.
That is the sense of joy. We can follow that tears of joy. Tears of joy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, this motion is coming up for the first time in this Senate, but this type of motion has come up severally in the past. The way the police abuse commuters and transporters on the highways. And all the times we have considered this in the past, it has always been condemnation of this act. If you look at the prayer of this motion, it says to call on the IG of police to direct his officers to stop extortion and intimidation. There is nothing provided in this prayer to ensure compliance. Because if you call on the IG to direct his officers and men to stop this, and we say, IG, we ask you to direct your officers to stop this, and they continue to do it, where lies the solution? I should think that the thing we should focus on will be on the punishments that will be meted on those officers who do this and they are caught. When commuters and their vehicles conveying them encounter this type of intimidation and abuse on the highways, they know those who have done it, the location where it happened. They should be able to bring a report to the Office of the Inspector General of Police and ensure that there is a way such people will be tracked without complaint. Because if we say, tell them to stop it, they'll continue to do it. And if such a report comes, the Inspector General of Police should consider summary dismissal of the officers involved in this act. It's very rampant on our highways. And we cannot continue to say, call on them to stop this. They will not stop it. Even when you report them to maybe area commander of the location where this thing happened, the matter will be closed because some of them are on duty on the highways on their behalf. In the evenings, they go and report back the monies they collected on the highways. If you don't make returns, they would put you on the highways again. These are the things we are aware of. So I want to put in an additional prayer that will focus on punishment for this offense. That the Inspector General of Police shall be requested to investigate these reports of harassment and abuse of commuters and travelers, and in proven cases, summarily dismiss the officers involved so that these bad eggs will be weeded out of the highways. That's my additional prayer, Mr. President.
I will check that.
One of the thoughts? Yes. No, why not? Let me finish. The problem is that drilling is not big enough.
Hamadike ndị Igbo. Godi Hamadike.
Press, I'm happy that we are here with you to visit this erosion site. This place is a section of the Onitsha-Owerri Expressway. You can see where we are standing now is already a deep gully and is one lane of this expressway. This lane has gone down completely at this section. It's remaining only one lane the other side. And if you look at this place, you'll see the threats to the other lane, because in a very short while, this place will collapse into the remaining lane. And this expressway will completely cut off. Vehicles will not be able to come here anymore. There is no guarantee that that other lane will survive another 2 weeks from what we have seen here. We've seen the depth of these gullies, the collapse of the other remedial works done in the past. So I think this place is beyond even the state government to control. Because right way down, even factories behind here, some of them are already collapsing inside there. Like this cabinet chief, Ichie Okon of Oba. His factory is down there, and he just pointed at it. Nobody is sure how long that factory can stand there, unless an emergency work is done. This place is a major gateway to the east of Nigeria. The second Niger bridge is just down there. So all the vehicles coming from western Nigeria, from Lagos, coming into the east and going to south, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, River State, Imo State, Abia State, all these vehicles come through this road. So it is something that government needs to do an urgent action. Yesterday at the plenary in the Senate, Senator Austin Zunaso, representing Imo West, brought a motion on the erosion threats to some communities in his senatorial district. Those communities are at the borderline between Anambra and Igbo. And I seconded that motion yesterday. But before yesterday, Rogenic Games Village is just by the corner there. See that floodlight there you're seeing? That floodlight is in Rogenic Games Village. The proprietor, Chief Romeo Zonka of Gilisibo. Honorable Minister Gas, my question is on policy on the Nigerian gas pipeline infrastructure. Recently, I saw somebody on television, Arise News, canvassing the issues as they affect the Southeast geopolitical zone on the construction of high-pressure gas pipelines. It was revealed the Southeast has no program for high-pressure gas pipeline infrastructure going on now. Like you have the AKK, Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, and you have similar projects across the other geopolitical zones. There is no program to lay pipes, high-pressure gas pipelines in the Southeast to carry natural gas around that zone. So since that revelation, our people have been gravely concerned, and they've been reaching out to us in the National Assembly to find out why the Southeast doesn't have that project. Is it in your program? When are you going to do that so that the same gas can be made available to the Southeast geopolitical zone for industrialization purposes and other purposes?
On the gas line network within the eastern region. Yes, sir. The Southeast, sorry. What we have today is the OB3 and the AKK. And we have the spur lines to distribute to all the eastern part. And of course, we have a gas pipeline from Akwa Ibom State that is supplying the gas to Abia power plant. So there is a proposal for extension across the entire eastern region. So OB3, at this point in time, I want to express my sincere thanks to the President because of the push that he has given to NNPC to make it to the level that they are today. And of course, within the couple of months, those two big projects will be completed. And when those things are completed, we'll have gas supply from the southern part, eastern, western, and of course to the northern part of the country. Thank you very much.
Okay, can kind of marginalization from the federal government. Now that the agency is and you're also our spokesperson in the National Assembly. What and what will you want Mr. President to use this opportunity to do for the people of the Southeast?
The President has a lot to do for our people, and the cry of our people of neglect over the years cannot be wishful thinking. Our people have not been able to get what they are entitled to in the Nigerian Federation. The neglect which our people have suffered is crying to heaven for God to do something. And now that the President has touched his feet on this soil, I believe that he will not go like that. He must tell our people something at the arena there. For those who will be at the arena, they will expect to hear from him how to address the myriad of problems facing the people of Southeast Nigeria. One thing that has continued to agitate the minds of our people is the need to allow even ground for the people of Southeast. Let them be treated as equals in Nigeria. Let them be carried along in the Nigerian project. Nigeria can only thrive where nobody is left behind. Our people have been left behind for too long. There's no point going through the litany of marginalizations we have been subjected to. But there are recent ones that will need urgent attention the President must do something about. Nigerian government has continued to modernize the Nigerian railway system in Nigeria. It is only in this part of Nigeria that we don't have a functional railway system. We have been left behind. Nigeria has gone on as if this Southeast is not part of Nigeria. Our railway system has remained analog or narrow gauge rail. Nigeria has moved on to all parts of Nigeria with standard gauge rail. And to make it worse, there's no rail line that is functional in the southeast of Nigeria. It is very deplorable. So it is like we have been crying out for this. Nothing has happened. I have done 2 motions on this in 2 separate sessions. One in 2018 and one in 2023. And another one in 2024. So there is no way we can pretend over these things. These are things that go to the heart of the Igbo people. If we cannot have a functional railway system here, and others are moving with speed, modern trains, modern coaches, modern tracks, it shows that something is wrong. And this Eastern Railway line is one of the oldest railway lines in Nigeria, running from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. So you can imagine what it is that Nigeria is moving with this pace and nobody is talking about this infrastructure. That is number one. The number 2 is that our youths are roaming the streets. They don't have equal opportunity with other Nigerian youths. You know, they have to get employment, access to employment. Our youth should have access to employment. The President should open the way for the youths of Southeast Nigeria to get employment in this country. They've been so discriminated against, and we should stop pretending about these things. It's responsible for even the insecurity we have in our zone. Because even university graduates have been frustrated to the point that some of them have taken to things that are not enough to survive. So we want equal opportunity for the Southeast youths in Nigeria. Let them get employment, let them get access to empowerment programs of government. That's the way to bridge the gap. And again, what will I tell you about the other infrastructural deficits we suffer in terms of roads and so on and so forth. So now that the President came to Nigeria, like we have came to Anambra State, like we say, he should not pass us by. He must come to Macedonia, he must come to Anambra State and listen to our people. We have the case of Nnamdi Kanu that has been there. Yes. It is a very short test in the minds of the Igbo people, the Southeast people. Yes, many people have been given presidential pardon over even treasonable felonies they have committed. But Nnamdi, the case is there, languishing either in DSS cell or being harassed from one court to another. So many people have been pardoned. Showore was pardoned for treasonable felony. Yes. He was set free. Sunday Igboho was set free from treasonable felony. What is different from Nnamdi Kanu, who is also acknowledged to be a freedom fighter, somebody who is fighting for his people, agitating for his freedom, that he is asking for equal treatment for his people, and is being subjected to such hardship. These are the things when we see them. Some of us who are ready to speak will speak it without reservation. We don't pretend. Government of Nigeria should be available to everybody. We, the Igbos, should be given that due respect, due privileges, due to them, citizenship rights, everything. So let's not exhaust everything today. I'm in the National Assembly, I'm in the Senate, and I know that it is pinching us very hard because we experience this injustice every day at the center of Nigeria, and we don't want it to continue. Let Tinubu change the gear. You should be in a position to show the way. Some people led with a nepotic mind, you know, they are gone. For him that is the president of Nigeria today, you should show the way and change the course of history by being there for everybody. Let President Tinubu be there for everybody in Nigeria, not Igbo people. Everybody in Nigeria, I repeat it, let every part of Nigeria get carried along in the affairs of government. That's the only way we can build that unity. That's the only way we can build that peace. That's the only way we can build that collaboration and understanding in the Nigerian project. So as he has come, and I bid him farewell when he's going back, let him carry in his mind that our people are not happy. Igbo people are not happy. We're not pretending about it. Anybody who is waving, telling you that he's happy, is pretending. So but the president has the opportunity to change the course of things. He can do it. He was a freedom fighter when the Nadeko was being pushed around. He fought for justice. So that justice should remain in his mind. You know the Nigerian national anthem, which says, God help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. Even if 10 people are being oppressed in Nigeria, it's a failure on the part of government. Nigeria should be built on a pedestal of justice where no man is oppressed. So the Igbo people, and indeed all parts of Nigeria, they need to be carried along in the affairs of government. Thank you. Thank you.
Come close the list.
Ọ̀wìnì lọ́sọ Henry. Ọ̀wìnì lọ́sọ Henry.
Ọ̀yà Gánú.
Ọ̀wìnì lọ́sọ Henry.
Dákúnyé.
President of Nigeria.
Because thank you. Etusibulu. Mbata kana amape. Mara wewe mwana wewe kozo wewe na nakaka. Na ko funu se. Na mama amape unu ka nkusi kenenu. So bide kele ka na kele onye obuna biko. Isinike Ibai na makele nkoboro di mma. Yes. A ko onye represent anya ba. Ji abia na bombo mpie. I want to say next time who I get to join. Oh, when I do the road, I shall make all to your opener. Always remember those of us in government, in prayer. Can we give them use the government now? Now, only matter of government. Thank you and God bless all of you.
I'm calling the agriculture. Fishing, seaweed, poultry, crop cultivation, snail farming, all kinds of agricultural practices. When the new never give one by one, they are stopped behind. So thank you for coming. You have been the leader of the team, Dr. Misonuku. Federal Agriculture and that's the only Federal Agriculture South East and South South. This college. Only from this state. Federal government, the theme of our training, agriculture is the key to national development. Thank you. We do presentation by Excellency. We are going to have kind presentation by His Excellency to 5 participants. Very high committee. So congratulations. This is your certificate of training. And this certificate can help anybody. Whoever may make grants, agriculture, if you put it in by Federal of Agriculture, they will live out. Certificate here, up on time. So congratulations. Now, you certificate of participation given to Francisca Moba Olu. Even fishery, poultry. And the old chiefs never. Or the Fancha, cover is the starter field, brother field, because of the finisher. The fertilizer, ma maize, ma ji, na nke abụ abacha. Ibu jisanya bokoya na ma nkwụ ịbụ nkwụ after 5 farm seedlings. So even na deba mo fegi.
Is that a good case?
Okay, you are number center. Ogiri one.
Ogiri down hall, we don't have that. Na St. Patrick. Ogiri na side building. Good on that, so.
What does he say to you? Near me,
We are going to have kind presentation by His Excellency to 5 participants. By His Excellency Chikadibia Anastasia, Okorie Chikadibia Anastasia, Oneba, Okorie Chikadibia Anastasia.
No can.
Very high from it. So congratulations. This is your certificate of training. And this certificate can help everybody. Whoever may make grants, agriculture, if you put it in by Federal Code of Agriculture, we have a certificate here. So congratulations. Now, Certificate of participation given to Francisca Moba Olu. Even the fishery, poultry. And the old chiefs never. Or the Union Mancha, it will cover it with you can't go the starter feed, brother feed, because of the finisher. You can't fertilizer. If you are calling it teacher, my maize, my G, my Kama Bacha. You would stand here, Bokoyanana. Manko, Ivanko, after the 5 pound siblings. Living at the Bamon King. Okay, you are number center. Ogiri one. What does that say to you? Senior member.
President of Nigeria.
Whatever.
Because thank you. Etusibulu. Mmoja kana amwape. Maramo ebe mwane wekoso wena nemekata. Nako befunu se. Ne mama amwape unu ka nkusi kene unu. So bide kene kana kene onye obuna diko. Isinike. Ibai na mwakele nkobolo di mwa.
Yes.
Aka onye represent anya ebe a. Ji abia na agbogbo mpie. Awo de sa next time who against we join. Onwe invite onwe ndi olutro. Kai so me ko olutu onye obuna. Always remember those of us in government, in prayers. Can we give use the go na obodo ọrụ. Na ndị mmadụ obodo we dị mma. Thank you and God bless all of you.
College of Agriculture, Iṣẹ́ Agbègbè, Vice Chairman of Fishery, Seaweed, Poultry, Crop Cultivation,
Snaring.
That's our snail farming, all kinds of agricultural practices. So living at the back. When the new never give one by one. They are stored behind. So thank you for coming. We have this the leader of the team, Dr. Musono. Federal Agriculture and Fisheries. And that's the only Federal Agriculture we South East and South South. This college. Only from this state. And the federal government for the federal, the theme of our training, agriculture is the key to national development. Thank you. We do presentation by excellency. We are going to have kind presentation by His Excellency to 5 participants by His Excellency.
Jisikenolo na mada na karonya Galilea. Iwonye neme no wa keji malia hamadike. Odogwo na nyikenele. Ugwomba no cha na nyikenele dalolwe. Ikemba guluzi bo odogwo. Hamadika gulunine manwe. Wagune chibe na nandri nine. Agune chibe na lekeneo. Wanandri nyelugowo agune chemba nobeledu wagune chemba nobeledu ojeli ibo na kweze ojeli ibo zi na kweze mmanwe agbanwe digizu agbaghali anya ndị nneni agbanwe digizu ama agbaghali anya wodige jeje mba Odige jeje mba na dazienu odogwo na nyikenele dalolwo Osofi ibuku Osofi ibuku nekenele me dalolo Omadige ndị Igbo dalolu Wodige na balizu odogwo Wodige na balizu na baga na nyikenele Ochiagha mba ukwu Ochiagha mba ugwu na nyikenele Wakaji ugo na nimo mmonwe Wakaji ugo na nimo na nyikenele Ekwe menugugwu n'umundi odogwo nyoga dilema Ekwe menugugwu n'umundi mmonwe Ibubaguleri odogwo Ibubaguleri mmonwe Ikenga ba na nyikenele Omadige ndị Igbo na nyikenele Ikenga ba manwe Udemba ndị n'Imo niile Woni modi na njiko ka ọma bụrụ eziokwu Udemba na nyikenele Victor manwe Ndị ga-dị ọra mma n'ala ọkwa gị Wodi ga-dị ọra mma n'ala manwe Okwulọra n'uke Okwulọra n'uke ebube dịka ndị Igbo niile Ọmadike ndị Igbo niile Ọmadike ndị Igbo niile Victor Mmanwe Senator Victor na nyikenele odogwo onye ọ ga-adịlị mma Ọmadike ndị Igbo odogwo Ọmadike ndị Igbo odogwo onye na-agụ gbalụ mbọ nwụrụ agụ wee tụọ n'ala Wanaba na wee na-enwe aṅụle Ọmadike
To the people of Anambra State, as my own palliative as senator, I spent over 40 million naira in this. Now in addition, we work on it. So this program is good, but it was not so good. And this is how we see. Government has to go beyond this. Create economic and job opportunities for the citizens. Agriculture
we need to go and put more hands on agriculture. Government should put money on productive activities so that people will be self-employed and be in a position to recycle income that will sustain them. What we are doing with this directive is purely consumption. Because anybody will give this rice, they will eat it. And they become hungry after 1 week or 2 weeks. The problem continues. So government should try to bring money to put people into the productive activity. Small and middle scale enterprises, very important. Government should engage our youth. Let them go and have mentors. The conditional agricultural program can sometimes be not already with people line up to share money. It will not help us. Let's give billions of naira to select people and put on productive activities. That's what I think we should do. How do you assess this 8% of the federal Well, the question you're asking is an assessment everybody will make. I think the government is trying for the fact that we have seen a lot of changes in government. We in the National Assembly, we have supported the federal government 100%. The reason being that the government needs to tackle the challenges in Nigeria. The budget the federal government, the president brought to us, we passed the budget.
Hello, Uche. You done here? What industry?